And it is the Copper Age.
I actually dig this name, and it's interesting that Mojang got to reveal it themselves because this time last year, the Minecraft live show leaked, including the entirety of the winter drop. We then saw leaks for the spring drop in the next year, making Mojang look like they were leakier than an ocean monument, which is interesting because we might just be getting a conduit update. This is according not just to the weird hints Mojang themselves have been making, you can skip ahead if you want to avoid the leak, but also according to some very interesting information from famous leaker John himself. But for now, hello, I'm AbyaXToyCat, and on this channel we discuss the real side of Minecraft updates and what's actually happening with them. It can be very easy to delve into speculation or very fake leaks, but I want to give you all of the information to help you decide for yourself because I'm pretty convinced that we are getting something very special here. But let's start with what the leak actually is. So Minecraft Live is happening in a couple of weeks now. Minecraft have revealed this themselves, and at that event they're going to share what the next drop is. This is also something they have said publicly, but what that is going to be is meant to be a surprise until Minecraft Live, but weirdly enough, for the third time running, it looks like we have another leak for the show. How did this happen? Well, basically, you might recall Roger Badgerman. This was the first time we've ever seen a Minecraft leaker go public and actually be credible. They shared lots of things, but most notably, the sniffer plants, and basically they were revealing lots of Minecraft features before they came to the game, but then they got DMCA takedown and their account is now blown up. There are very rarely leaks in big public spaces anymore because Mojang and Microsoft both possess the power to use their ability to DMCA strike these places down. That's because they own the content which is being posted, and it's being posted without their permission, and so that is why you rarely see anything big and public, which is the loophole that John has been taking advantage of. If you don't know who John is, he's been posting to a private Discord. This is a fun way to get around the problem of posting things publicly and getting in trouble, but it does create a bit of a problem for us because it means it's a private channel on a private server, and so it's quite tricky to see outside of these videos. But here's what John said in the past that makes it worth hearing what he has to say. He predicted that January the 8th would be something big, and it was the first snapshot for the spring drop. He predicted something to do with pigs with just the simple emoji, and we got 2 brand new pig variants, and then the same is true for fireflies. He did use the 2 emoji, or the 2 pixel version of it, but it was 1 pixel in the end. This is quite a notable guess because no one else was saying this at the time, and then finally, after all of that was done, there was a hint that horses might be changing. This was even backed up by Mwam on Twitter, but as it turns out, those haven't changed. So 3 for 4 is a pretty good ratio for what seemed at the time like basically random guesses, and that's why it's important to bring up that, yeah, this is a decent source, but not a perfectly infallible source, and we have a very weird thing that they've shared. So again, this is a private Discord on a private server of a private Discord that you have to trust the person who shared it with me, you have to trust John, and then you have to trust that I'm sharing this correctly with you, which is easy to do wrong when you're trying to make for the most, clickbaity title or thumbnail ever. There are a lot of challenges and why you shouldn't trust this, but this is the information that we have. There was someone on this same server who posted a survey that they were doing because they wanted to, have like a fun game of who can guess what's going to happen at Minecraft Live, and John decided to respond to that survey, as we can see right here. They forgot to do it, but they responded to that survey with this response, simply putting the word conduits. What does John think is going to be revealed at Minecraft Live? Conduits is the answer. Which raises more questions than it really answers, because the conduit already exists in Minecraft. Not to be mistaken with the conduit, by the way, but the conduit exists and it works by placing enough prismarine around this block until it gives you this fun conduit power effect. And although it exists in the game, it isn't really used that much, which is why it would be a really good thing if they did revamp it, and so maybe that's what he's hinting at instead. Minecraft does need to revamp all of the things that exist in the game at some point, like they did with the Nether update and the original Aquatic, and so is the conduit coming for its major buff and maybe some form of mob or extra effect? I think that that is severely what is being hinted here. However, can you actually trust it? Well, with all leaks, you've always got to say, yeah, it's always possible that someone's just making something up. They don't have a source besides trust me, bro, and I guess you've trusted them in the past. But in this case, it's even messier because this is just their response to a survey. Are they being real with this? Are they sharing a real hint or a leak at what's coming in the future? Or are they just having a bit of fun and a guess for themselves? We won't know until Minecraft Live, is what I would say if it weren't for all of the other things that Minecraft themselves have said that really heavily have been steering us towards an ocean update. That might sound like craziness by itself if you haven't been following, but Mojang have made a great deal of hints, and let me share them all with you, because what is the evidence for an ocean update? If we leave the leak aside and just solely talk about what Mojang themselves have done, they really are getting pretty sus with their obsession with the oceans recently. The reason I'm here next excellent ocean monument is because Minecraft recently uploaded a video talking all about the Elder Guardian, and that is their way of talking about big boss mobs, but the fact that they decided to do this just this last weekend, right before what seems to be a next update announcement, is at least worth looking at, right? The same is true for the fact that they did this article about ocean ruins just a short couple of weeks ago, and even more interestingly, in the last beta and preview, 121.110.25, not this week's, but the one before that, they specifically mention adding the underwater music parameter into the Minecraft Biome Music client biome component that enables the underwater music for the biome. This means that instead of every underwater biome being hard-coded to have the music, now if you wanted to add a new underwater biome, you could just say that it would be underwater music, and then the underwater music would play. This means that now it's easier than ever to make a new underwater biome, and isn't that interesting that Mojang would decide to do that right just as they said they were going to be working on the next drop, which they'd share with us soon. Quite interesting. I also think it's quite interesting that in the video about the Elder Guardian, Jeb does specifically talk about how some people consider it a mob boss and some people don't, and he says this:
I'd call it a mini boss in the sense that it's very strong, it's persistent, it only spawns in these locations and won't respawn, but it's not so strong as a boss, so it has its own health bar.
It sounds like Jeb just said that the worst thing that you can find in the ocean depths actually isn't quite so bad as a boss and doesn't deserve its own health bar, and this is very interesting because I feel like many people looked at the aquatic update and went, yeah, this is so much better than before, but after we got the Caves and Cliffs update, where we actually ended up having the height limit of the world lowered down to -64, it made the oceans then seem underwhelming because there's so much height below your oceans. If you don't believe me, here is a brand new world. I literally loaded it up last week, as you can tell from these sad iceberg biomes, and I made this world just to build some silly things you shouldn't make in survival. But what's interesting is you can see, looking at this iceberg biome, that it's the current world generation I'm showing you. This isn't old or anything, and so let's take a look at the oceans and how deep down they go. Now keep in mind that the ocean level in Minecraft is at Y62, that is where the water will generate at, and then keep in mind that the bottom of the regular ocean biomes, not a shallow ocean, just a regular one, is Y55 or so. That's 7 blocks of water for a decent majority of oceans in Minecraft, with deep oceans, that is to say the deepest ocean biome we have available, taking you all the way down to, what is this, Y39. That means that you get a solid 23 blocks of ocean, but it's still not enough to ever want water-breathing potions on. It's still not enough to actually be threatening, and you can see it's still not enough, not just in my subjective sense, but literally the game itself has one deep ocean structure that is actually a challenge. We obviously have amethyst geodes, and we have shipwrecks and ruins, but if we look at the ocean monument, you can see that it's not always actually, it's so big that it doesn't always fit in this biome without having to make these ugly ridges. That is to say, Minecraft's own structure really doesn't fit quite well in Minecraft's own biome, which is one of the biggest signs I think I've ever seen that they clearly need to decrease the height of the deep oceans. Now they could do this as a kind of, like an old style revamp where they make deep oceans much deeper and add new mobs and add new structures, maybe something like that. I think one new structure would be cool. And indeed, this is what they would have done maybe in 2017, but the modern strategy seems to be revamping existing things. When they added the ancient city and the deep dark biome, they didn't make it so that like, oh yeah, some of your existing, it's like, no, it's a brand new biome that overwrites a small amount of the existing caves. When we look at the creeking and the way that the Pale Oak Garden is handled, it's a small percentage of deep darks that are converted, and so what if Minecraft took a small percent of deep oceans like this and made them go much deeper with actual, like ocean content that's worth exploring with water-breathing potions and that might require tridents and sponges and all of that, and indeed, particularly, wouldn't it be cool if it tied into conduits? That is what I think perfectly makes sense here, and so at this point I think it's worth asking, okay, so there's some evidence that points towards this, but how likely actually is it? And I am someone who is permanently skeptical, enough to say that like, yeah, sure, it looks great when you see that Minecraft keep posting about the oceans and that Minecraft just made changes that make ocean changes more likely, but I think that a lot of people get blinded and can't see the ocean, they can't see the plants through the ocean. They can't see the trees because of the forest. I think a lot of people get really confused about the idea that like, yes, this makes it very likely. The leaks are potentially true. The hints are potentially hints. But also it's entirely possible that, like many times in Minecraft's past, they're just accidentally hinting at the same thing again, despite that having nothing to do with the actual update. I do think that the most likely individual thing to happen by far is an ocean update, an ocean drop, But it's worth mentioning that many times we've been wrong. As likely as an end update will always look to people who are looking for it, it doesn't mean that end update is actually going to come. And so as likely as I think this is, I don't think that that makes it actually true. And I know that kind of pains me to say. Like, my job here in these videos, I'm going to get more views if I say, look, ocean update's definitely confirmed. Send this video to your friends because we all know it's happening. But I want to be real with you and say, look, we don't know for sure. But if you're looking for a most likely outcome, the thing to look for most, I would say the ocean drop. What I would also say is if you're looking for when Minecraft Live is happening, we don't specifically know that, but we do know because Minecraft just revealed the name of their drop that it's probably going to be after that comes out, and so maybe later in September than we previously figured is when we're going to be finding out about the brand new potential conduit drop. And if they can call the drop the Copper Age, clearly it's going to be the Conduit Age coming soon. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed these real takes and actual dives into Minecraft news. Make sure to like, favorite, and subscribe if you do. And for now, I guess I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.